So it's 8 weeks out from the New York City Marathon, and I just walked into Central Park, butterflies filling my stomach, both excited and nervous because I'm about to attempt my first ever 18-mile training run. Everything was off to a great start. And then at around mile 5, I started feeling this tightness in my left knee. Now, this was not the knee that was giving me trouble throughout my training cycle. So I told myself not to worry about it and to just focus on pushing forward. Though as I made it to mile 7, the tightness was getting worse and I was starting to panic. So I decided to pause, stretch out the leg a little bit, and a few minutes later, I was back out on the loop, ready to go. But when I hit mile 9, my knee completely locked up that I couldn't even walk. Tears started streaming down my face. And the pain was something that I had never experienced before, though the pain wasn't just physical. It was mental and emotional. I was scared. When I finally made it back to my apartment, I collapsed on my couch, completely defeated. Was my dream of running my first ever marathon shattered? Now let's pause here for a moment. This was a dream I never knew I even wanted or had. You see, 10 months before this, I couldn't even run down the street without wanting to pass out. As a lifelong dancer, I was told that running was not good for me, so I stayed away from it. I even had an idea of what a runner should look like, and I was definitely not it. Though all that changed back in November 2015 when I decided to watch some friends run the New York City Marathon. Little did I know that standing on First Avenue on the Upper East Side that beautiful morning would change my life forever. As I watched runner after runner after runner go by, something inside me started to shift. Witnessing the perseverance, the dedication, the commitment, and the sheer determination was truly inspiring to see. Though what was even more inspiring and surprising to me was that these runners were made up of all different ages, sizes, shapes, and backgrounds. The narrative I had of what a marathoner or runner had to look like was completely debunked. And it was in that moment that I knew I needed to be one of them. But how does one go from 0 to 26.2 miles? Well, the next day, I downloaded a running app and I was off and running. Well, mostly walking at first with some intervals of running in there to help build my stamina, but you get the picture. Though things didn't go as planned, life started getting hard and then even harder. I stopped running and I gave up on the goal. A year later, my life looked very different. I had lost a relationship. I was feeling unmotivated in my job. I was trying to launch my business as a side hustle and it was not going the way I planned. And in general, I just felt really lonely, lost, and scared. I felt like nothing was in my control and my confidence was at an all-time low. Marathon Sunday was coming back around, and I decided to go out and cheer with some friends again. Filled with disappointment this time in myself that I was not one of them, I blamed all the things that got in the way over the past year. But seeing all the different runners again also inspired me. And this time a voice came to the surface saying, "That will be you." So the next day, I tried running again and I have never looked back. Running has been the gift that just keeps on giving. And today I want to focus on one of the biggest gifts it's given me. It has helped me to build my confidence from the inside out, not just when I'm running, but in all and every aspect of my life as well. Confidence is the foundation for creating a satisfying and fulfilling life. For many people, confidence has been created by outside and external validation. However, in order to really create sustained confidence, it needs to come from within. Outside feedback is important, but it cannot be what you base your self-worth on. Confidence supports you in turning your dreams into goals and then reality. Confidence supports you in navigating change, transition, and unknowns. Confidence supports you in bouncing back after setbacks and building up your resilience. And confidence supports you in creating a deeper connection with yourself so that you can connect with others and the world around you in more meaningful ways. But how do you actually build confidence? And how did running help me to do this? Well, self-talk is fundamental in building confidence. Self-talk is anything you say out loud or in your head about yourself or to yourself. Generally, there are three categories to self-talk. First, we have debilitating or negative self-talk. These are the thoughts that pull you down and hold you back. I like to think about this as the gremlin inside your head. Then we have positive or facilitating self-talk. These are the thoughts that move you forward and raise you up. I like to think about this as the cheerleader inside your head. And then there's instructional self-talk. These thoughts are more directive and not really emotional. It's kind of like your inner coach. For example, remember to breathe. To build confidence, we want to try to turn up that volume on the inner cheerleader and try to silence the gremlin as much as possible. My gremlin was shouting at me that I was not a runner. And the more I listened to the gremlin, the harder it was for me to believe that I could actually achieve this goal. So there were a couple of tools that I started practicing. First, whenever the gremlin would say I was not a runner, I would pause, take a deep breath, and say, I am becoming a runner. The more I said this and the more training runs I had under my belt, that statement actually turned into, I am a runner. This is called thought stopping and positive replacement. Second, I created 3 affirmations for myself that I could repeat when the gremlin started getting loud. Affirmations are I statements said in the present moment. Mine were, I am strong, I am capable, I can do hard things. Another important part of building confidence is to take action. When I would think about running 26.2 miles, it felt really overwhelming and that gremlin would get loud again. So instead of focusing on the 26.2 miles, I broke the big goal down into more manageable, smaller steps. I worked backwards and created milestones for myself. 20 miles, 15 miles, 10 miles, and so forth, all the way back to week 1, where I was running 20 or 30 minutes at a time. This allowed me to focus just on the step that was right in front of me. By successfully completing each smaller run, I became more confident and even excited to try the longer runs out. Each completed run was a deposit in my confidence bank. Now, if I had tried to do too much too soon and didn't succeed, that would have been a withdrawal from my confidence bank. Take a moment right now and think about what would be some things that you could do to deposit in your confidence bank. Now, of course, there are always going to be setbacks along the way to achieving any goal. So let's get back to where I left off in the story from the beginning. My gremlin was at its highest decibel when I injured myself. But because I had been practicing for months how to amplify my inner cheerleader, I was able to overcome the gremlin by shifting my expectations and adjusting my training plan so that I could actually rest and heal properly. I am proud to say that I did make it to that starting line in November 2017. I remember thinking that morning as I boarded the Staten Island ferry that I knew that I would finish this race. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I was confident that it would happen. And I did it. It wasn't easy at times, and I really had to lean on that inner cheerleader a lot. But as the bracelet I have worn every day since starting training for that marathon says, she believed she could, so she did. I never would have thought that I could have gone from 0 to 26.2 miles in just 1 year. Believing in yourself can bring you to places you could never have imagined. So I ask you, what's your 0 to 26.2? And what's the first step you can take towards your finish line?